Hey guys, what's up? It's Ryan here. Today I'm going to be talking about 7 herbs I consider to be essential in my home kitchen from my restaurant and culinary school experience. I'm going to be talking about how to store them, how to use them, and what ingredients they pair well with. First one I want to talk about is basil. Basil is incredible. It is a really fresh herb. It is delicious. It's really delicate though, so you have to be careful about how you store it and how you use it and what you pair it with. There's a few different kinds. Generally, right now, I'm just going to be talking about general basil, not Thai basil, not sweet basil. We can go into that a little bit more in depth if you guys want in the comments. Basil should be served as a garnish. It should be served cold so it doesn't wilt and bruise. It needs to be cut with a very sharp knife. It's just fucking delicious. It's pretty great. If you've never had basil, try it on pizza, try it on fresh pasta with a little bit of prosciutto. Adding it to a coconut curry, you're gonna be like, wow, how come I have not tried this before? If you really enjoy cocktails, try making a syrup out of strawberry, a little bit of lemon zest, basil, maybe a bit of vanilla. It's gonna blow your mind. It's gonna be great. Since the storage for a lot of these herbs are similar, I'll be going over all of that at the end, so again, stay tuned for that. Fucking parsley. I love parsley. Parsley is very versatile for a few reasons. The leaf looks very nice when cut finely, and it will add a nice level of color to any dish that kind of looks bland or brown or gray or whatever it is. The stems are also great to be reserved and used for stocks, or you can blend them up into your sauces or whatnot. If you're getting sick of boring food, try it with a little bit of lemon, caper, and salmon, and it will really freshen up your palate. Oh my God, don't even get me started on chimichurri or salsa verde. They will change your life. You're never gonna wanna have a dry piece of meat again. Add a little bit of chimi, add a little bit of salsa verde, you're gonna be like, wow, how come I haven't tried this sooner? Okay, so cilantro. Cilantro is a really tricky one. A lot of people don't really like cilantro, and I can't blame them because it's a genetic disorder that you don't like cilantro. It tastes like soap. It took my dad 50 years to actually enjoy a dish with cilantro. Whenever we would go out to eat, he would always ask them to remove it or omit it, and I was getting frustrated by this, especially as an aspiring chef. So when I took him to a restaurant that I was working at, I made him try at least 7 different dishes with cilantro on it. He told me it was the best meal of his life. Give it a chance. Cilantro is super non-European, which might actually be a good thing for a cracker-ass skid like me. Try making some salsa for your Tostitos. A cilantro mint chutney might actually just change your life. Try it out. It can't hurt you. Don't be afraid. It's okay. Okay, so mint. Mint is one of my all-time favorite flavors. Growing up, mint had a huge part of my life. Every birthday cake was mint chocolate ice cream cake. Delicious. That's what I look forward to. Mint is a bit more versatile than a lot of people are willing to admit. It's not just great for ice cream, but it can be incredible with squid and cucumber. It's incredible with refreshing summer drinks or maybe with a little bit of lamb. If you haven't had tabbouleh before, you should give it a shot because mint isn't just for sweet ingredients. It can also be for savory dishes. It might just be what you've been missing. So rosemary. Rosemary's quite strong. A lot of people have a disposition to it that I've found, which I think is quite interesting. I find that it's a nice, refreshing smell. You can generally find a rosemary tree at your local garden center. Then you might not actually have to buy it anymore, so saving that money. Rosemary can be a great addition to stocks or broths. It works perfectly with a nice strong fish or prawns on the grill. You can just skewer the prawn, throw them on, have a great appetizer for you and your dinner guests. Don't be afraid of chopping it up and adding it to your potatoes and oven roasting it with a little bit of black pepper and olive oil. It will be a great side dish that impresses your friends. Probably don't want to put rosemary in your salad because the crunchy bits are not going to be nice. It's going to be like pine needles. If you want to, I'm not going to stop you, but I wouldn't do it. Chives are an incredible filler herb. If you're not sure how to spritz up a nice dish that lacks a bit of color, maybe it needs a little bit of a delicate oniony flavor, chives are definitely the one that you should be reaching for at that point. They're nice, easy to grow. You can throw them outside and just let them absorb the sunlight and the natural water if you live in a place like I do in Vancouver. They are a staple of most restaurants and they're pretty easy to use. Chives are great in almost any dish, especially eggs, fish, risottos, really whatever you can imagine. Chives can be a great addition to it. Chives are really all about that presentation and a light, oniony, floral taste. So don't be afraid of tossing it in whenever you're uncomfortable. Okay, so thyme. I think thyme is very underrated. I think that it is one of the most important herbs that is out there. It is super easy to use. You don't really even need to chop it that much. I honestly don't know where cooking would be today without thyme. Thyme to me is a lot like mustard. It is a flavor enhancer and brings out flavors of everything else around it. While thyme doesn't necessarily have a strong flavor, it does enhance a lot of the other flavors around it and gives a little bit more depth to the dish that you're preparing. It works perfectly with potatoes, mushrooms, fish, broth, stock, whatever you can really imagine. Just a nice little sprig of thyme can enhance your palate and give you another step towards a more well-rounded dish. So I'm going to be talking about storing for a little bit now. Storing herbs can be a challenge in any home kitchen, especially if you don't use them enough. I know I have had issues myself with buying cilantro and then seeing it start to wilt in my fridge. A few things that I would like to comment on is that you can store herbs in a few different ways, and finding the right way that works for you is obviously very important. So with rosemary, thyme, and mint, you can generally store them in the same way. Wrap it in a damp paper towel and put it into the fridge in a plastic bag sealed and crisper. Generally should last up to a couple weeks. Keep an eye on it every now and again if you haven't been using it, making sure that it's not turning brown or black. Similarly, parsley, cilantro, and chive can all be stored in the same way as well. Taking a dry paper towel and inserting it into a plastic bag that is unsealed. You want it to be able to have oxygen flow as well as staying nice and dry without having an excess of moisture. Basil is one that is really different. I'd like to say how it's a little bit unique from the others. If you put it into the fridge in that same sense, it's going to wilt a little bit faster and it's going to turn brown. We'll leave basil outside the refrigerator with keeping the stems in a cup of water and a plastic bag over top of the entire cup. This will keep the basil nice and fresh for a long period of time. You can do the same thing with parsley, cilantro, and chive, keeping them in the fridge, but personally I find that that's a little bit too much space, and with a lot of other ingredients in the fridge, it's just gonna be a little bit cluttered, so I prefer to use the other methods for that. So I have a few honorable mentions for herbs that I really wanted to include. Either they're rarely used, better off dry, or maybe they just didn't fit the mold of the video. Dill can be incredible with tomato, buttermilk sauces, yogurt, potatoes. Really is an incredible herb. I find that it's a little bit harder to keep than some other herbs and it's not used enough in my home kitchen. If it is for you, definitely go for it. Targum is another great one. It has a little bit of a fennelly flavor, which doesn't appeal to me as much as a lot of other herbs because I'm not a huge fennel fan and a licorice fan. Targum is incredible in a hollandaise sauce. It goes very well with meat in that sense. It can also be paired nicely with fish, shellfish, or chicken. However, you want to stay away from matching it with other sweet herbs like basil. It just won't give you the nice flavor pairings that you're looking for. Sage is really great. I love sage. However, I don't have enough uses for it in a home kitchen. Sage can be really great at turkey dinner. Throw it into the stuffing and just bring it up to another level. Sage will go really nicely with pasta and cheese, but it needs to be cooked a little bit first. So don't be afraid of adding it and really encourage exploration of different herbs. Oregano is one that I really considered adding into my list. I really love it. It is an incredible flavor. However, I do have one thing that I would like to comment on is that they wilt quickly and they are hard to keep, and getting dried oregano can often be just as good as fresh oregano. The stem does have a little bit of oils that can provide flavor. However, I find that the dried oregano is just easier to use and just better off. Bay leaf is another supporting herb. It doesn't have very strong flavor to it. It will kind of mask into other ingredients. I think it is a staple of your home kitchen. You don't necessarily need to have it as a fresh ingredient, as you can buy it dried and it works just as well. Finally, I want to give a massive shout out to the herb of Hades. I think that this is my personal favorite herb. I don't think that I could include it into my 7 just for social reasons. It can be a tasty addition to brownies, cupcakes, butter, cookies. It is beautiful. And you know what? You can enjoy it on its own. Just be responsible. Thanks for watching, guys. Drop a comment below on what is your favorite herb and what ones I missed out on. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time for some more bullshit. Peace.